Now, the second battle that we're now fighting is whether or not we will have the right to use the terms to decide how our movement is going to go. They don't want us to use black power. I got news for them. Because what black power was supposed to do was to start bringing black people together under a slogan that everyone understood. But what in fact has done is organize white people and their Negro allies.
The emasculation and the cancellation of the black man continues. Recently, Dave Chappelle did a stand-up comedy on Netflix. And in this comedy that he did, he made some very critical remarks about the LGBT community. And in these remarks that he made, he basically was standing up for black people, particularly black men, when he basically made a request to the LGBT community by informing them to stop using us as punching bags.
A lot of people in the trans community were furious with me, and apparently they dragged me on Twitter. I don't give a fuck, because Twitter's not a real place. Gender is a fact. This is a fact. Every human being in this room, every human being on earth, had to pass through the legs of a woman to get on earth. That is a fact. Do you see where I'm going with this? In our country, you can shoot an illegal, but you better not hurt a gay person's feelings.
Now, I'm not going to go into the rest of what the brother said in his stand-up, but as a result of what Dave Chappelle was expressing, many of these civil rights groups and GLAAD and some of these civil rights black groups, some of which we've never even heard of, are now asking for Netflix to cancel Dave Chappelle's stand-up. They're also asking for Dave Chappelle to be removed from all platforms. And my question is this: when are we, black men, going to stand up and give the same fight to our enemies that everybody else is so hell-bent on destroying us or keeping us at the bottom ring of society? This cancellation of the black man and this belittling of the black man by mainly liberals has gone entirely too far. It's just like the song by Marvin Gaye.
Make me wanna holler, throw up both my hands. It makes me wanna holler the way they do my life.
I've made countless and countless videos about how the black man is being emasculated by all forms of society, how the black man is being relegated to a carousel in every single mainstream platform, how the black man is emasculating himself by depriving himself of true masculinity. But rarely do we ever talk about how these feeble-minded liberals every single day push this agenda to not only make you seem weakened, but also they are so incensed of totally removing you out of the picture in the black family structure. As if welfare didn't do that enough. As if incarceration didn't do that enough. As if gangbanging hasn't done that enough. As if heroin and later on crack cocaine didn't do that enough. Brothers, what we're up against is way bigger than Dave Chappelle. What we're up against is this constant fight to just get rid of black men altogether. Not only that, but to just totally control the landscape of what black men say, think, act, or behave. And we have to ask ourselves, why is these liberals are so fascinated with controlling you by wanting to cancel you, by wanting to eliminate you anytime you say something that is contrary to what they want to put out there? We always ask ourselves, why is the mainstream media showing the worst and degrading forms of our people through the music, through the entertainment, through social media, etc.? You want to know why? Because we allowed them to do so. We refuse to listen to men like Marcus Garvey. Elijah Muhammad, Noble Ali, Malcolm X, etc., etc.
The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful, more hypocritical than the conservative. Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon in this political football game that is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives.
We refuse to carry on the true principles of the red, black, and green. The red stands for the blood in which our ancestors have shed. The black stands for the melanated skin in which our people all over this world possess. And the green stands for the land in which we stand on, which we encompass or inhibited every section of this globe, but mainly Africa. We refuse to stand for that, but yet we constantly complain when they try to ostracize some of our greatest and brightest. And I get it, we have every right to be outraged just because Dave Chappelle and countless others have differences of opinions. We're living in a society to where the black man can't do nothing. Every single thing he does, he is criticized for it. He's villainized for it. He's guilty in the court of public opinion. He doesn't even get his day in court simply because by the time he goes to court, in everyone's eyes, he's already guilty. For hundreds of years, the black man has been portrayed as a brute, as an animal, as a savage. But look what our youngest are displaying today. They're calling themselves demons, savages, heartless, no soul. Listen to this clip as Tupac explains back in 1995 that if we don't take hold of our narratives of how we want to portray ourselves to the world, black men, you're going to have this new generation of these young black men growing up, and they will have little regard for life and definitely no regard for how we view ourselves as black people.
Don't support the phonies, support the real. You know what I mean? How can these people be talking about how they so real and they don't care about our communities? How can they be talking about what they, all this, you know, the hood, blah, 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 blah. They don't care about our communities. You know what I mean? Listen to the words that people say in their lyrics and tell me if that's real to you. You know what I mean? Listen to what they saying. Don't just bob your head to the beat, peep the game. And listen to what I'm saying and hold us accountable.
And this is what we're seeing in 2021. The image of the black man has been so degrading that it trickles down to both his women and children. Look at today's modern black woman. Not all of them, but a good majority of them. Do you really believe that today's modern black woman can carry herself in a positive and productive manner? Can you really look at today's modern black woman at large and declare that she's worthy of being a wife? She's worthy of properly and effectively raising children? No. Because for hundreds of years, our enemies have tried time and time again to take away our greatest strength, and that is the nuclear family structure. Now that the nuclear family structure has been totally broken, now both the black man and the black woman is fighting against each other to where we're almost at the point to where we should just remain separate on our own. And that itself is very decimating and embarrassing. The continuation of the liberal-minded media to push this narrative of the black man having to remain at the bottom has to come to an end. We cannot rely on them to do it for us. That is our problem. We're relying on outside forces to solve problems that we ourselves as black men especially can solve on our own. You solve it by first looking at yourself in the mirror and telling yourself what it is that I need to do as a black man with African descent to change myself from within and to build and change the surroundings that have been so negative and decimating for a very long time. When the black man changes himself, he'll begin to change his family. When the black man changes his family, he will change his community. Once the black man changes his community, he will then come together collectively to change the mindset of his people. And the only way we do that is we remain independent of both conservatives and liberals. The reason why you don't hear me go so hard on conservatives is because conservatives have shown you for hundreds of years exactly who they are. So therefore, there's no need for people like me to go weigh in on the conservatives. The Republican Party was once the Democratic Party, and vice versa. So they're both spectrums on the same coin. But what we have to do, black men, is we have to continue to put up a fight. We cannot cave or give in. Every time we say something that's opposite of liberals or the LGBT or black women or white people or whoever, they're so quick to make us want to apologize. They're so quick to bring in these outside forces that dictate to us what they want us to say. No, we stand on what we say. We speak on what we know and believe is facts. And if anybody doesn't like it, to hell with them. Why? Because they were never our friends and allies to begin with. When is we black men are going to stand up and say, enough is enough? You ain't canceling us no more. You're not going to get rid of us. You're going to accept what we say, whether you like it or not. We're not apologizing for what we say. We're not going to bow down to you simply because you're uncomfortable. And lastly, I want to say this to the LGBT community. For those of you who understood what Dave Chappelle said and you had no problems with it, salute to you. But for those of you who did, look yourself in the mirror. And you need to stop being so sensitive. The last time I checked, comedy was a relief from all the social ills this world has to offer. So what? Because Dave Chappelle ruffles a few feathers. You mean to tell me that you can go in defense mode against everybody else, but when somebody talks about you or when somebody mentions you, everybody has to shut up? That's how you know we live in a dictatorship model of society. Don't believe me? Look at your liberal president, Joe Biden, and ask him why did he sign a law giving the IRS permission to go into your cash apps, your Zelle, your bank accounts, and monitor how much money you spend. That affects everybody as a whole, but it definitely affects black men. Why? Because they already think we jugging, finessing, and robbing the system. I stand with Dave Chappelle. I'm glad that he hasn't compromised his stance on what he believes. And neither should we. Black man, when you get yourself together, it makes the black woman by default come back to you. Black woman, you know deep down inside, you truly desire and want to cherish a black man. Start doing it, but first start doing it by cherishing yourself. United we stand. We're the most powerful force on the face of this earth. Our enemies know that. That's why they're so incensed on bringing down the black man at every opportunity. Because they know an intelligent-minded black man, he can't be defeated by nobody. When he sets his mind to do whatever he wants to do, he is undefeated in any realm of any opportunity, of any form of creativity on this planet. We need to start going that route instead of going the route of these liberal-minded fools. Never gave a damn about you. They only want to see you in a weakened mindset. And if they really had it their way, they would totally wipe you off the face of this earth. The truth will be told. And it don't give a damn how you feel about it. Salute to all my brothers and sisters that stands on truth, freedom, justice, equality, and independence. And motherfuck anybody who has a difference of opinion about it simply because they don't like when a black man is speaking that righteousness. 100.
American taught the black people to be violent. We will use that violence to rid ourselves of oppression if necessary. We will be free by any means necessary. And we also say, to extend that, if black leaders continue to aid in the genocidal attempt of America to execute and eliminate black people, then they shall be considered as enemies also of black people.